They said gray paved the way, changed the rain, released the pain, least you sane, getting paid, trend setting, brighter days, doper rap, tighter sets, high in Delhi, I'm a fighter jet, journey.
Mr. Gray Cloud, y'all know what it is. Listen, WWE releases. I want to do this one because I've been a fan of this guy for a little while. I think he's super talented. Now, I know Muffins thinks he's going to AEW. I don't know what Rob thinks, but I personally think the two best destinations for Mustafa Ali, one of the most talented young guys I've seen in a while, would be either Impact Wrestling in the X Division, because I think that he could be, I don't want to throw too much craziness on him, but I think he can be that AJ Styles of the X Division and make that really popping again. Or he can come in and be either a national open weight or top tier talent at MLW, depending on whatever. The guy has the look, the athleticism. He's a former police officer, which I think Rob, for some reason, would definitely fall into that line because I can't like him for that. But I got to throw it out there because, listen, that's what the guy was. He's a former police officer, kicked some ass, became a wrestler, kicked some ass, and looked great doing it. Pause. Gentlemen, Mustafa Ali, Impact Wrestling, MLW. I don't want to say AEW. So please, Muffins, no AEW on this one. MLW, Impact Wrestling. I don't care who goes first. Gentlemen, talk to me.
You're taking AEW off the table, and I think that's his most likely destination. The question is going to be when. His biggest fan in the locker room is Bryan Danielson, who now has like a lot of control over AEW Collision. So I think the question is going to, with CM Punk out, he's kind of taken over a lot of the Collision duties. So I do think that's going to be his, ultimately his stopping ground. The question is going to be when, and I think it's going to be the best for him? I mean, financially it will be, but I think.
And I'm not trying to cut you off, but you obviously know this way better than me because of the Collision thing. What did you think that if Bryan Danielson was smart, and I love Mustafa Ali, but if you're kind of in control of it and you think the best opportunity, wouldn't you think Dolph Ziggler would be the better of the releases to come in and say, you could be the head of this?
If you give me the list of releases of the releases that I've seen, I think Ali and Dolph are both AEW bound. The rest may do like a one-off in there. Like I could see Shelton Benjamin just showing up at like Ring of Honor for a one-off or something like that. But in terms of like actually like being AEW guys, I think Ali and Dolph are the two guys that AEW goes after. The rest of them, I mean, maybe possibly if they see something extra in, but I think like Dolph and Mustafa Ali are like just surefire bets. Though that being said, it wouldn't do us much good who review the TV stuff, but really like AEW would also allow him to work indies. And I think that could be a big thing for Ali as well, because he's a Chicago guy. He's got a lot of roots with like AAW. And I can't remember if he's done like freelance as well. But like I think that would be like, and also kind of like a thing that he would be interested in. Which I mean, he could do that with MLW and Impact as well. But financially speaking, the money's gonna be with AEW
and the figures and all that other stuff.
Yeah, me and Chef have mentioned Dolph Ziggler, AEW for Saturday Night Collision. That will be his best bet. You bring him in, you give him a storyline of guys who have been disrespected in the game for a long time, and then that you bring in his brother, you bring in the workhorseman, you bring some of the talent that's not being used, and you go like, this, I'm the guy, this is my crew. We've been disrespectful for far too long. People don't respect us. We're here busting out for 10, 15, 20 years to get thrown on the trash. And then you make a little crew with him in Collision, and you go from there. I didn't think of Ali till you said about Collision also with Bryan Danielson, but out of the whole list, them two will be the only two guys that I will even sniff Collision or AEW. But if they go to N.W.A, MLW, or Impact, they'll be at the head of the pack like that. Dolph Ziggler will be like that head of the pack.
Yeah, say Ziggler would be like Cardona on that front.
Yeah, exactly. Ali will be the same thing. Head of the class. You'll have to change everything for them. But I see them more for AEW than anything else.
I'm really curious though to
I
see
think
what
Rob
Dolph's
should
like
be-
outside of the umbrella, though. Like that's the thing. He's been like a WWE guy from the ground up, and I'm curious to see what he is capable of outside of that WWE umbrella.
Well, you already know what's going to happen. He's going to come out if he goes to AEW, and the first promo is going to be how he got shitted for the last 20 years. How McMahon
You think
never
he pulls
gave
a
him a
Cody
chance.
Rhodes?
Yeah, because
That was kind of his gimmick before anyway.
Yeah, but all the rumors how supposedly McMahon never liked Dolph Ziggler, blah blah blah, and he never wanted him to succeed. That's one thing that they'll
But
definitely
did he
hit.
win the world? Did he win
AEW.
World Heavyweight Championship, Ziggler?
Yeah, and then like he got the concussion bug,
Yeah.
and he really never sniffed the main event scene consistently
After that, yeah.
ever again. Like depending on who the opponent, who was holding the title, he'd kind of show up, do a short program, but like he was never really considered a serious contender for the belt after that.
Yeah,
And
so
now, Rob,
that'll be
I
his
think
first
I had
promo.
asked you. I think I asked you before, and you said Sam Adonis was his brother, right?
No, that was Corey Graves.
Corey Graves.
Corey Graves. Okay, so who's Dolph Ziggler's brother?
His brother is the other guy, the hunk.
Yeah, the Hollywood hunk, Ryan Namath.
Namath. That's his brother.
Okay,
That's what
I'm
that's
pretty
what I'm saying. You
He's-
bring
he was
him
part
with
of,
his brother.
He was part of Peter Avalon's crew.
Yeah,
in
the
AEW.
wingman.
The
The
wingman.
wingman. Yeah,
And
so
then had a
bring
cup
him-
of had a cup of coffee in the original NXT, like not the original, but the original developmental version of NXT as a
like
backstage
that in the
interviewer
base.
named Riley
Yeah.
Pierce.
okay. Listen,
You
They-
already know, he'll come out, do the promo, how everybody shit on him, blah, 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 big McMahon. Tony Khan will eat it. Anything to shit on Uncle Vince, Tony Khan will allow it. Go up there, get out the system, and then, you put them a little crew together in Collision and let him take Collision over from there.
okay. Okay, so you guys have both Dolph Ziggler and Mustafa Ali in AEW. I hope Mustafa Ali, if he gets the bag, get the bag. Always get the bag. I would love to see him on Impact or MLW. I think that we would see a better program with him, I think, on those shows.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he'll get lost in AEW. I honestly do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it sucks because he's so talented and like making the joke or whatever. But, this guy obviously served and protected the streets. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give this guy a lot of credit for doing what he does and then, jumping in and being as good as a wrestler as he is. So I really want to see him shine.
He's grown
Hopefully-
so much. He used to be just a straight gimmick guy. Like I hated him forever. Like I hated him. Like I don't want to see you on my shows.
Wow.
For quite some time, and then finally something in him clicked, and he.
So
he,
you didn't like
figured
him
out.
like we didn't like Microman.
I didn't I'm just go back to being a police officer, dude.
What?
And Rob K just said this, I never thought about it. Ring of Honor for AEW. A lot of this talent could go to Ring of Honor and be strictly Ring of Honor wrestlers in there. I never thought about Ring of Honor.
Wow.
Because
No way.
it's AEW light. You always need bodies in Ring of Honor. Now you got a nice little roster if you start using some of those people that got let go in Ring of Honor.
I don't know. I'm
That's
not going with, I don't
that's
even
the
want to
same
go with that.
thing. They'll get money on a constant basis, and they're working for AEW, but for Ring of Honor.
I guess. You know what? We got one more to drop on them. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. Deuces.